Good morning, PCMS. This is Mr. Slater. I'm going to be showing you guys today exactly what our master grid is, and for you guys to have this video to use in the future. It's really, really important this year for everyone to understand exactly how we use this mastery grid. So not only for you students, this will be also very helpful for the parents watching, just to understand exactly what your students are doing. I'm going to show you my screen, and it's going to actually start on Google Classroom. So hold on just a second for me. So as you can tell, we have our class Google Classroom up. There's a lot of different topics here in our classwork. The one we're going to be focusing on exactly is our mastery grid. As you can tell, the first mastery grid we have is our first day of school mastery grid. This is to help your student understand exactly how we use this. So if we click on this link here, it will bring us up to the Google Doc of our first day of school mastery grid. Each mastery grid at the beginning is going to look similar, but it's going to tell us what our topic is. It's important for us to understand the topic because we are going to be changing units throughout the quarter and throughout the year. So make sure we're on the correct mastery grid. Underneath this, it's going to show us our objectives and standards. And not only is it going to show us that, it's also going to show us our vocab words for this unit. If we continue scrolling down, you'll tell that there's different levels. So we have levels 1 all the way up to level 5. It's really important for you to understand what level you will start on. And the way we're going to be doing that this year is through a pre-test. So every unit that we start, we're going to be taking a pre-test. And depending on how well you do on that pre-test, you're going to be starting on a different level. We're going to make sure that we post these pre-test scores on Progress Book, so you'll be able to see them. But the pre-test scores aren't going to affect your grade. All it's there for is for you to understand where you're at the beginning of a unit. So let's say that you start at level 1. If you're starting at level 1, you will start on activity 1A. You're going to work through activity 1A, and once you're completed with this activity, you're going to move on to activity 1B. For the first week, we are just going to be focusing on finishing this one level. So once you're done with level 1B, you'll move on to 1C, and when you're done with 1C, you'll move on to 1D. And at the end of every level, there is going to be an assessment. These assessments are here for you guys to understand if you are mastering that level or mastering the standard that we're focusing on at that time. For this level, as you can tell, there is no level assessment. So when you're done with 1D, you'll move up here to level 2. And you're going to be doing the same thing at level 2. So you're going to go to 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, and then you will take another level assessment at the end of 2D. It's important to understand that as you work your way through the mastery grid, you're going to be applying different knowledge-based focuses on the standard. So if at level 1, you're just define and recall. At level 2, you're applying and demonstrating. At level 3, you're comparing and contrasting. And at level 4 and 5, you're actually designing and evaluating these standards. So as you work your way up, you will go through each of these activities in the order that we talked about earlier. And then once you get up to level 4 and 5, this is where you will actually use our quadrant work. So this is a little different. It's not as structured as the individual activities. This is for your choice. This can only be done if your student has shown mastery on our SCA or our short cycle assessment. And this will be completed at the end of every unit. So it's important if you start on level 1 or level 2 to make sure you're working your way through these mastery grids. So by the time you take your SCA, you understand exactly what we're trying to learn this unit. The last thing about the mastery grid that you need to understand is that it's here for students who not only are excelling through a standard, but also for students here if they need more activities at a specific level. So say you're not doing well at level 1 and you take your first assessment. If you don't show mastery or hit a 70% on this, you actually come down here to a tutorial level. And here it's going to show you a little more in depth of what exactly we were trying to learn. And you'll have the opportunity to retake that assessment. Throughout the Mastery Grid, you have a lot of different opportunities to retake assessments. So it's not, if you don't do well in this assessment, it's over. You're able to come back to it at a later time. Remember, throughout this year, we're going to be using this Mastery Grid, so it's important to understand this. And if you need to look through this video multiple times, please do so. And we'll be going over exactly how the Mastery Grid works in the first couple weeks of school as well. So thank you guys for watching. And of course, go Vikes.